Hello everyone and welcome back for another episode of Vampire the Masquerade Independence. On tonight's episode we join our scene outside of Clear Profit where numerous vampires are being summoned, called to, arriving randomly, whatever it may be. At least most of the coterie is gathering to share information about Mitch, as well as a special envoy sent by the Prince herself. Who should be turning up about now?
Dave, would you mind explaining Clear Profit since Marcus has never been there?
Alright, well, as your vehicles pull up, you find yourselves standing outside of a rather tall building. It looks more or less like your stereotypical office building with the, looking kind of like the glass pillar standing out of the asphalt. There's a parking lot that's nestled between it and some other buildings. The doors look mostly glass with metal handles, and inside you can see that there are people in business suits going about their day-to-day routines. And those of you that are exceptionally perceptive will notice that several of these people aren't going around with papers and documents doing various tasks. There's a number of them that are standing on either side of a door, or they're walking around as if perhaps patrolling. And their vests look a bit more bulky than your typical business vest.
So, at this point, Seth will park and go up to the receptionist's area and say, "Good evening, miss. My name is Seth McDowell. I believe that I'm expected for an appointment."
Yeah, receptionist. Alright, let's taps away at her keyboard, looks up and goes, "Oh yeah, you're expected on the 5th floor." She goes ahead and hands you a little ID tag.
And
It
Seth will...
doesn't have your name on it. It has like a symbol, and when you move it around, it has like a little holographic image that shows up.
I'm kind of curious about this. Let me just try and figure out what the best thing to apply this with would be.
What would you like to do, Marcus? And we can probably help you out.
Yeah.
In intelligence academics to try and figure out what this symbol is.
Well, you don't have to roll it. It's like a logo.
Oh, okay. So it's it's the logo of the company. Okay.
Yeah.
So, oh, never mind. Seth will give a polite bow and head off towards the elevator. Actually, he'll ask. I do beg your pardon, miss, but what's the room number?
And it's like 503.
Thank you very much, miss. And Seth will head off very promptly to his appointment. When he arrives, he gives 3 very polite taps on the door.
And when you go over to you do notice that there are several of the people that have the bulky vests kind of walking around, and because you're much closer, you can see that they have like an earpiece that like comes out of the collar of their shirt. You know the type.
Yeah.
And there are cameras posted in at angles where they could get as much of the hallway or much of the room as possible. So it would be exceptionally hard to do anything in a subtly in this part of the building. Also, from the inside, you could probably notice that there are metal detectors around the doors. If you had metal on you, you may have also noticed that it didn't sound an alarm when you walked in.
Interesting. Seth's automatic thought is that maybe it has something to do with his ID tag. Maybe it sends off some kind of a radio signal.
Maybe.
Sorry.
Yeah, when you get to the 5th floor, the 5th floor is mostly empty actually. Like there's not a lot going on at this level. It's as if the place has been more or less cleared out, and room 503 is directly in front of you. And when you knock on the door, you hear a voice from inside saying, "Come on in."
And Seth will walk in and close the door behind him. Good evening, Mr. Rossi. It's very nice to see you again, son.
Nice to see you too. And Cena was actually like staying up and kind of just looking through the tinted windows. He's wearing a 3-piece suit, but the jacket is off, so you can see the vest, the button-up shirt, tie, that stuff.
Yeah.
As soon as the others arrive, we can get started.
Very good, sir. I forget. Is Celio on that list of Robins of the individuals that would be unsafe to shake hands with, or?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know. What did you say?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to remember. Is Celio one of those individuals on the list of individuals?
People Steph can shake hands with. Yes, any of the Primogen. She's allowing to touch him. So.
Okay, so in that case, Seth will actually step forward and offer a hand.
You would have turned around and offer your hand. They'll give you a firm handshake, not like he's trying to like crush your hand or anything, just a respectful handshake.
And Seth will actually stand by a chair, and because he actually hasn't been offered one yet, so he'll just sort of stand in the at rest position. with his hands clasped behind him.
And they kind of sleep. Go ahead and sit down. I don't know how long it's going to take them to get here.
Seth will take a seat, and he will take.
After
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to add that Seth will actually take out his pen and his black notebook.
Anna, do you want to ride with Isabel?
Oh, I was thinking that would be the case.
Well, I'm gonna say while Izzy's walking up towards the conference room, she's probably got her DS out. Perhaps Anna has been battling Pokemon on the way. Something idle for them to do. But once Izzy enters the room, she'll shut her DS, put it in her pocket of her outfit, and she'll head over to take a seat next to wherever Celia will probably be sitting.
Anna's hands were rather too full to do anything like that because she was currently carrying a lot of paper. She does drop it onto the big table with a rather hefty thunk, and then let out a rather unnecessary breath as she goes, "Whew."
Upon your entry into the room, Seth will actually stand and wait for you and wait for you both to be seated. In fact, if you'll permit me just to add a little bit of flavor to this whole thing, can I roll a charisma performance check, please, to just sort of attempt to leave a good impression as a butler by offering to help in a very polite fashion.
Sure thing.
I don't think you need to roll to do that. I
Well,
think you just need to say, "Oh yeah, he offers to help" in a polite fashion.
never mind. Sith will actually stand up and give Anna a very it's friendly but professional, and he'll just sort of offer reasonably quietly, "May I give you a hand with those, miss?"
Oh, no, it's okay.
Very good, Miss Hannah.
I have my I don't really know what to call them. More people are bringing the others.
Seth will take his seat again after he offers a hand to Anna and Isabel. Very nice to see you both, as always.
Izzy offer a bit of a smile and a nod, and she's like, yeah. So what did you want to meet about? And she still kind of gives that like playfully nervous look because if you remember the joke she sent back to you of I didn't steal it when you had messaged about meeting up with the coterie.
About that time, the door opens very, very haphazardly, as it looks like the guy's attempt to open it, like turn the handle with his chin, and then is kind of like half doubled over, trying to carry a big pile of papers. With a woman in what looks like a doctor's overcoat stood behind him, just looking rather incredulous at the man in a police uniform, trying to open a door with his chin.
Seth will actually go over and help with the door to sort of alleviate something of this traffic jam.
No, buddy, I got it, he says as he tries to push the door further open and then tries to stand up, only to get pulled back down slightly. Oh, the door's got me. It's got my collar, everybody.
Seth will just sort of help him extricate himself. There you are, sir. And
He stands bolt upright and goes, "Yeah, nobody saw anything. Detective Peralta act."
Seth just quietly goes and sits on his chair.
Oh, Jake and Jessica, can you put the files down here, please? Thanks. Then the two move over and put equally as large files down on the table next to Anna's, creating 3 large piles of paperwork. Before Anna says, thanks, that's everything. I think you can both go now. Before they both wander out of the room. And I should really check to see if Jessica was Anna's other ghoul.
It's all good.
Well, the only one I know for certain, the only 2 I know for certain are Detective Peralta and Agent Jenna.
Remembering his manners, Seth will just wait until one of the others opens up the conversation.
Well, being the rather timid girl that she was, Anna sure as hell wouldn't do it.
Have we lost you there, Dave?
No, I just didn't hear what was going on.
Where did we lose you?
Shortly after they brought everything in.
Oh, Seth will just sit patiently and wait for one of the others to open up the conversation as he's attempting to be a polite guest.
Stilo just kind of looks between the two and says, I believe the 2 of you know each other.
Indeed, sir. I've had the pleasure of Miss Robinson's acquaintance.
Anna gets a slightly odd look on her face at it being said that it was a pleasure to meet her, and then she just kind of bounces over to Celio and gives a smile and a shrug.
Seth just kind of raises an eyebrow. Doesn't really say much else. And then, if I may then, and if I may be permitted to proceed, Mr. Rossi, the nature of my visit is primarily to do with the very sudden absence of sorry guys, my CP's acting up. Of
Bitch Maverick, and helpfully pipes up.
yes, thank you. It seems that young Master Mitch has been gone for quite a while, and as you no doubt are aware, we really must get to the bottom of this. This being the case, I have volunteered to lend my skills to trying to ascertain whereabouts the young fellow is gone. And,
Have you tried an ashtray?
Perception, empathy, for starters. Sorry. Would my attentive speciality come into play here?
Sure.
I don't know what you're attempting, but sure.
It's a perception empathy check on Anna upon her saying.
Yes, but what are you attempting to do?
Well, just that's a very odd statement. So I'm trying to. I guess it's a couple of things. I'm trying to ascertain the nature of her statement, as well as maybe she knows more than she's letting on.
Okay.
So to start, that is 3 successes as far as I can see.
So what you get from Anna is she doesn't like Mitch that much.
Does she know anything that she hasn't been forthcoming about?
What you get from what Anna said is that she doesn't like Mitch that much. It's sort of the snooty, well, we might be better off without him attitude that seems to be behind what she's saying.
Seth is actually going to raise a very almost concerned eyebrow at this and sort of look to Celio as if seeking his opinion on this, because it's a very that's a very scary statement to make. That's not something you would normally want to say at the beginning of an investigation.
Yeah, but and what he sees that he was he was holding an old kind of flask in his hand, just turning it over. He pulled it out of his coat, and as he's turning it over, you can hear that it's empty. But it's one of those old stainless steel ones, kind of unremarkable looking. Probably had it for a long time, and while his expression doesn't change in the slightest, when she says that, you see something odd that you don't really see very often in Kindred. You see some of his veins in his neck and on his forehead kind of become prominent. And when he sets the stainless steel flask down, there's a dent where his thumb was.
Did he take a drink?
No. It's empty.
Okay. Alright, because Izzy would have been reaching for his hand if he went to take a drink.
As I said, as he was turning her over, you could hear that.
Okay. Also, nobody told me what was said, but it's so bad.
Okay, now I have a chance to sort of explain, and if I miss anything, guys, please help me fill in the gaps. Essentially, I opened up the conversation about why Seth was here. As he's looking into the disappearance of Mitch Maverick, and when I mentioned this, Anna says, "Have you looked in the bottom of an ashtray?" And so, Seth did a perception empathy, and for two reasons, but apparently all I got was she really doesn't like Mitch at all, and her whole attitude was, we're probably better off without him. So sort of, and then Seth kind of looked to Celio to get his take on things, and so yeah, and OOC,
Okay.
Anna has just been put on Seth's suspect list.
Oh, just wait, Sonny Jim.
Oh gosh, hold on, my dog is on my computer. Sorry about that.
That's okay. But because that's not something you would normally want to say in the opening of a case. That's not remotely cool.
Okay.
So
Isabel's reaction to that then is she's kind of look at Anna, but sigh and shake her head a bit.
What?
To
He
be fair,
accused me of murder and stopped me from being able to do anything for at least half a month.
I get it, Anna. Trust me, he's trouble. He put all of his work on me and then fucking... I don't even know. He's dropped it on me twice now. He wasn't a very competent vampire, either way that we look at it. But that's the thing.
Seth's just quietly making notes in his notebook.
But, Anna, despite that, I don't think he's ashed yet. The only person who ever did anything with an ashtray, they were Sabat. This I don't know. From what I'm hearing from rumors and stuff, it doesn't sound like it was Sabat.
That doesn't necessarily mean that Sabat are the only people that use ashtrays. I mean, there's loads of them at the police precinct.
True. But do you think the cops were the ones that got a hold of him?
Oh no, I'd have heard something.
I heard it was a guy in a duster with a hat and cross on his neck. That sounds like a hunter to me.
1 second. And Anna then starts going through files, like moving them from a pile before she picks one up. Ah, here we are. This is the full report of a... And then she hesitates for a moment before speaking once more. Psychic investigation into the matter.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to do another perception empathy on the rumor about the gent in the duster with the crosses.
Okay.
It'll still be going in the report, obviously, but of course Seth would want to verify his facts.
What are you rolling again? Sorry?
Perception empathy.
On
Who
who?
are you rolling? Yeah.
Oh, on Isabel, because she's the one that mentioned the guy in the duster with the cross tattoos and whatnot.
Okay.
So. Um, 3 successes, I believe.
You got how many?
According to this, I have 3.
Okay. Yeah. Is he telling me the truth?
Okay. So, and then Seth will look to Anna and say thank you and hold out his hand for the document.
She passes it over. Also, get and check Skype and give me a link, please.
Oh yeah. I was getting that for you. That's why I was kind of like, Drew.
Love.
But according to, Izzy will continue. But according to Lucas, Mr. Cox, what we know him as, he used powers of the blood to touch some things at Mitch's place. We investigated it. I was there. Another member of my clan, Mr. Eric Thorne, was there. And the Hound was there, but she kind of snickers a little bit at some things she remembers from that. Either way. That's what Lucas described.
Very interesting.
It happened during the day, too.
During the day, you say? Well.
He said there was light behind the door where the man was.
Has anything been disturbed since the incident at his home? Seth will ask.
Yes, I did a full forensic investigation of the area.
I wonder if you would allow me to go through it with you again and see if we might be able to locate his Harpy book, as it's a very important document.
No, we didn't find it.
I would like to go through it again. Maybe we can spot something that
One
we missed the
second.
first.
I need to roll. Where is it? 4 dice. Self-control. Okay, that's good. And I need to roll charisma subterfuge.
So is this another perception empathy then?
If you want to roll it.
Yeah, I do. Spending a willpower point because this has potential to be rather interesting. And of course, watching sucks. Now, sorry, I feel I need to ask again. What's
Doesn't
my...
matter, you beat me, man.
Okay.
So what you get from Anna is she is offended that you think she might have missed something.
Seth just keeps making notes. Sometimes it can be helpful to have a pair of fresh eyes on the situation. We're all on the same side, after all.
Well, here is the investigation. And she slides across a tome of a file.
Let me see now. Seth will go through it. If I might inquire, has the scene been released?
No, I've kept it under tight wraps.
Would it be possible for us to gain access?
Why do you want to gain access?
Because there might be some clues depending on what we find in here, and perhaps if there's something else there that was hidden, it might give us a clue as to where he might have hidden that book, as it's a very important book, and it would be very bad if such a thing were made public.
Is he?
Yeah.
I'm not entirely too sure about this, but can they trade properly? And she motions in Seth's general direction.
I've never done trade with a ghoul, only the ghoul owner. No offense, Mr. McDowell.
None taken,
So,
man.
any boons that he might be offering would be boons offered from his employer. She tries to word that as delicately as she can. So perhaps
Which he
something
can't
that
do without her consent anyway.
Nor would I,
essentially,
and nor would I presume to do so. May I add?
of course. So perhaps then your employer, Ms. Silverbird, should have a discussion with Anna, with me present, of course, because well, my job. if Robin sees fit to send you out to the scene, then she nods.
I'm just trying to think of something. Seth will just quietly go through the file as the others are going through this discussion.
What Seth finds in the file is that Anna is extremely thorough. Like, it looks as though she's photographed every square foot of that entire house and written, like, perhaps a page or more about every single part of that, like, every single square inch of that house. Almost to some sort of obsessive degree of accuracy. I wasn't kidding when I said it was a tome. It is very thick.
And upon seeing this, Seth will say, I'm very impressed with your work, Miss Robinson. What Seth is actually going to do, as he's using his intelligence and investigation, I'm just going to quickly double check something. Okay, so that's a total of 5. Is he also wants to try and work up a profile of him if he can, to sort of maybe glean some ideas of where the book might be, which may or may not be added to if we can have a look at the scene.
Well, there is actually a section, because there is a contents page, because Anna's useful like that. In the handwritten contents page, there is actually a section saying possible locations. Flipping through to that section, there's a bit about the cellar, where every single brick in the cellar had been drilled into by the time Anna had got there, as though someone was testing for something. Anna suspects they were looking for hidden passages or false walls, that sort of stuff. Things you could hide stuff behind, like fake bricks, all that sort of stuff. There's also a loose floorboard in his bedroom that she found, but it turned out to just be a loose floorboard in his bedroom. There was a safe in his office that looked like it had been drilled open, and there was nothing inside. And I think that was where it was, because there was a false wall in front of it as well.
Essentially, and I won't do the roll if you determine that it's not necessary, but depending on what Seth finds, like, and I'm also kind of hoping to use this scene to eventually justify taking a specialty in investigation eventually, as a profiler. I mean, of course I don't have it now, but I mean, having a video log of the intent is always good. But if there might be like a place that he might go often, which is a little out of the way, or something that might appeal to his vanity, or anything that might ring as a plausible spot that maybe no one else had thought of yet.
Well, since the report is a factual analysis of Mitch's entire house, there's not too much in the way of places outside of the house, except perhaps the front lawn and the backyard. So there's not that much of a chance to get any sort of profile from anything like that.
But it might, the photos especially might give an idea of like what his hobbies were, what his focuses were, areas of interest, etc., etc. But Seth will jot down the notes of the places that Anna thinks it might be, because if we're going to look into this, the prince would have to know, and she can sort of move and shake in ways that Seth can't. You will know. You all know Mr. Maverick far better than I do. I haven't really had the pleasure of meeting the man very often. Are there? Does he have any places that he prefers to congregate? Is there some place that he enjoys being with his mates, as it were, or any place that you would say would be key to his personality?
Somewhere where there's lots of women.
Fair enough, I suppose.
I mean, other than that, he was always hanging around the old penthouse we used to keep as a coterie, but, I mean, she shrugged. He did a lot of whoring, as it were.
A lot of porn, you say. I have an interesting notion, and I wonder if you might be able to indulge me. Are any of you particularly good with computers?
Computers?
Yes.
Isabel perks up.
Well, I have I'm a tad uncomfortable with this request, you understand. But is it possible that he might have kept a copy of it within one of his files where he kept his entertainment, Seth would ask as delicately as he could?
Chapter 18, page 432. Mr. Maverick's computer was not found at his place of residence, nor was any laptop, PDA, or cell phone device.
Does he have a computer here? Or something that would be... Can I roll a straight intelligence check to try and remember a modern term? Since he doesn't really have any computer skills himself at the moment.
No, you don't even have to roll. What were you gonna say?
As I understand it these days, the people have a tendency of being able to connect one computer to access to another. So if it were me, I would want to put a copy of something important in a spot where the enemy wouldn't necessarily be able to access it right away.
Izzy kind of looks at him. I have complete access to any files on his network. I'm the head of IT in this building.
Fair enough.
He has nothing on his computer that would have related to that. Though, I will say I know for a fact he's done some of his entertainment at the Desert Rose. But I doubt it had anything to do with anyone there.
Was he... I beg your pardon. Do you know if he has any sort of a special relationship with the individuals at the establishment? Is it possible that he might have been able to keep something there discreetly?
Anna bursts out laughing.
He looks at her.
Seth is
So
just
funny.
Seth is being thorough. He just you know.
And sorry, I was trying to get my computer to run a bit quicker. But Sam's been like looking off to the side and says, Mitch, very subtle with anything. He goes to the Desert Rose to fuck women. They're prostitutes.
Yeah.
Seth nods as he understands this. As he's...
He goes, I've already found the ledger. I know where it is. And if I need to present it to anyone, it'll either be to Izzy or Robin herself.
If you do have it, sir, I do think that the prince would most likely like to have it. In fact, I can call her if you like. At least until either Mr. Maverick has been found or some viable replacement has been decided.
Have a viable replacement. She's been doing an amazing job.
As I understand it, this city has always had 2 harpies.
Izzy can do the job of 2 people.
Anna, and she hugs her a little bit around the shoulder. No, up until me, it was just Mitch for a long time. And then Mitch decided that he couldn't handle being so close to the sun and dropped it on me and me alone for quite a while. I managed just fine by myself. The only reason there were 2 of us to begin with was because I took pity on him enough to let him have his own job back. He thinks that the prince would have let him just have it back after dropping it like that. No, I put in a good word for him, and so did Celio.
I see. You will pardon me. I do need to be thorough in my report. I very much understand your position, but if you'll permit me, I will inquire with Robin as to what she would prefer to have done with the book. If no one has any objections.
Of course. I'll speak to the prince about it as well. I trust Celio to keep it safe more than I would trust, well, Mitch in the slightest. I'm sure the prince has good security as well, but she's trusted Celio with a lot of things in the past. She not.
Of this I'm very much aware, Miss, and I have nothing against you or any of you really, but I'm a servant of the prince. My duty is first and foremost to her, so I cannot proceed without being clear as to what my instructions are. If you would please excuse me for a moment, and Seth will actually close up his pen, stick that and the book in his pocket. Yay, ice cream trucks. But and he'll excuse himself while he goes to inquire as to what Robin's wishes are, and Kitten, if you wanted to type them in the chat, I can mute myself, and it gives you guys a good chance to chat, and then you can let me know when I can come back in. Is that okay?
It's up to them. How do you guys want to run it? I wouldn't be opposed to just...
As long as it seems done soon.
Yeah. Alright, here's how I'm going to run this. When you go to call the prince, what do you say to Robin? Just do it with your voice.
Essentially, Seth is very thorough. He says that his full report of the interview will be on her desk tomorrow night. But it seems that Mr. Celio has found our missing book, and of course I would never dream of proceeding without inquiring as to how you would wish to handle this.
The prince will respond to that if Mr. Rossi has it, then it will be in good hands, and she'll ask that he move it to... She'll tell Seth to make sure that he's moved it to a secure location, and to make sure that he has given that information to Isabel.
Very good. Very good, milady. I will speak to you later. Please excuse me. And Seth will come into the office again. Sorry about that. You are sure that the book is in a safe place?
It's perhaps in the safest place in the city.
In that case, and Seth will do a perception empathy. In that case, if I could please ask you to please let Miss Hale know where that is. And as it stands, there seems to be no issue with you holding on to it. And
what you get from your perception and empathy is that he appears to be telling the truth. That wherever that place is, it's a very closely guarded secret.
Gives you a smile. In trust with Mr. McDowell, the Clear Profit coterie, we get things done in the city and we run our security rather tightly. Mitch was just a fluke in our system.
I see. Nevertheless, I think it would behoove us not to ascertain the fate of our fellow he is a member of the Kindred of Independence.
Well, it's not as though I'm not looking for him. It's just that the security surrounding his disappearance is mostly taken care of. However, though Celio has the official ledger, as we call it, Mitch still had on his person his ledger, his mini ledger. I have a mini ledger too. She pulls hers out to show it off. It's a small black leather bound book. He has one something like this. This one's mine. That was not in his apartment. However, we don't know how up to date his was, all things considered. Mitch wasn't as good as taking notes as I was. Or am.
Of course.
So it is still a concern.
If you out of character question, how unique was the cross tattoo on the man?
Oh, it wasn't a tattoo, it was a necklace, and it's just a silver cross that Lucas saw. So.
Would you like me to try and ask about, based on this individual's description? I'm guessing with someone that is ready, willing, and able to go into a dangerous situation that may or may not involve the supernatural, would be sort of a rarity, especially in a small town like Independence. I could try and get you some further leads if you have a direction to point me in.
How about trying to interview the people that broke into my apartment the other day?
Do we have them?
No, unfortunately. I spent all of that time hiding in the closet while 5 large men rifled through my things.
I'm very sorry to hear that, Miss Robinson. Do you have a description?
Tall, black clothes, balaclava.
Tall, black clothes, balaclava. In Texas? In this heat? Oh my goodness.
Have you ever broken into a house before, sir?
Seth just kind of looks sideways. In a manner of speaking, yes.
Well, when you're trying to do it as a criminal, you tend to wear things that won't leave any evidence of who you are.
Of that I have no doubt. But wearing something never mind. Do you know? Yeah. Well, did you happen to note any interesting voice patterns, or did they say anything? Oh, were they all male, some female?
As far as I could tell, since I was hiding in the closet because 5 hunters broke into my apartment during the day, they're all male.
You Okay, so you know that they're hunters.
No, but I'm assuming based on the facts that I have here. And she points at the large stack of papers.
Seems a very reasonable theory. But you believe that they're all men. All right. I'm just trying to think of Were you able to get a tire tread or a footprint? Something that might be able to be scanned and identified.
Have you ever worked with a police investigation before? By the way, I'm not even going to make you roll. Anna's being very, very standoffish at the moment.
No, and Seth is trying to be understanding. He's not trying to fight with anyone. He's just trying to do his job, and that's pretty clear. I mean, if someone wanted to do a perception empathy on Seth, he's just radiating a sense of, I need to get this done. I do not dislike anyone. I just have a job to do, and I'm trying to do it to the best of my ability. In a nutshell. But all of this will go into his notes anyway. And anyway, going back into character. Again, Miss, yes, being in the army, you are required to do a great many things. Have you ever been trying to outrun a mortar shell, or trying to avoid a minefield, or trying to work your way through a hostile city with sniper rifles going off all around you?
I don't see how that's relevant to the investigation.
My point, Miss Anna, and at this point Seth is going to roll a charisma empathy. Sorry, I just have to find. Okay, that's 7 dice. Spending a willpower point. Thank God I did that. Seth's words just get kind of choked up in his throat, and he just kind of shakes his head in frustration. Thank you all very much for your time. I will endeavor to look into trying to track down any individuals that seem to be new to the city and seeking to carry themselves in what I can only describe as a manner befitting a discrete special operations. If there's anything else, please don't hesitate to call. And Seth will actually offer 3 of his cards with his cell number on it. Is there anything else that I might be able to assist with before I take my leave?
I just want to put this out there that once we find whoever's responsible for taking Mitch Maverick, I want that person brought to me. As he's talking, his tone, it changes just a bit. He says, because you remember what you were talking about with your time in the military?
Seth nods.
I'll make the person beg for a situation that easy. Manipulation, intimidation.
Would that be a perception empathy again, or
You don't have to roll that. That's him basically saying, I want the person found, and I'm going to make every second they're alive a living fucking hell.
Yeah, but you're also intimidating, so, would that be a willpower or what?
I wouldn't really say. I mean, he's not trying to intimidate Seth. He's just being generally intimidating. Otherwise, unless you think Seth would literally be, scared by this, then it'd be like a courage roll.
Oh, okay. Well, then no, he wouldn't. I appreciate your position, sir, and I heartily agree with you. I'm sure that the prince will also have some choice words for whoever's responsible. However, we are all here to help each other, and that includes myself. So if I can aid you in any way, please don't hesitate to call. Sorry, did I lose you guys?
No, you didn't. Is he gonna... Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. There was somebody in my room. Is he gonna go? So, Mr. McDowell, is there anything else that you need to talk to us about? Any of us?
There was, but I think in the interest of wishing to let things cool down a bit, as it seems I've unintentionally stung Miss Anna, and for this I apologize. The prince has requested that I work with you to aid you with learning self-defense. I would be more than happy to help you in this if you could please determine a suitable time for us to meet. I would be very glad to assist you, Miss Anna. And Seth meets Anna's eyes.
Oh, damn, this is tempting.
Go for it. Whatever.
These files will be yours to peruse then, Mr. McDowell. And I need to roll. What's Seth's perception plus self-control?
Self-control. That would be 4 for perception and self-control. Sorry about this. Just trying to find it. Okay, that would be a total of 8, I believe, if I'm counting it correctly. Do I need to roll something?
Nope. Okay. For 2 days, Seth starts suffering from PTSD.
Is that a willpower thing, or?
Nope. This is a power that Anna's using.
Okay. Would it take effect right away, or?
Basically, when he gets home tonight, he'll be like, everything just seems to remind him of back when he was dodging snipers' bullets or driving through minefields and tanks cautiously, things like that.
Okay. Actually, if you'll allow me, because I don't know if we'll be able to do a follow-up scene for a while to illustrate this, I'm just going to do a fate die to see if Seth can sort of hold it in. Otherwise, Robin will know that Seth is clearly disturbed, like more so than he usually is. Yeah. So if you guys want to, we can do a follow-up scene later. But if not, I think it's pretty safe to say that Seth is sort of able to keep it somewhat under wraps, at least with a role like this. Is that fair?
Just having a quick chat with these.
I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to do anything wrong, but, you know.
No, it's cool, man. Okay, so basically, you are the guy that decides whether you can hold it in or not. If you are in a scene, then you might get a message from one of us just giving you a little thing that you might need to either react to, or it might give you a little penalty from time to time.
Okay, that's fine. I just didn't know if we were going to be able to do scenes exactly over the next 2 days or so, because
Yes,
RL and
we'll
all
have to
that.
say the next 2 scenes that you're in, just so we can get the full playthrough of that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Or hell, the next 1 scene, if there's loads of it in there.
Sure. Okay.
If you're going to be around tomorrow, we could do the scene we wanted to do with Anna, Seth, and I guess I could just sit around as an ST to mediate it, because, you know, even if it's just sparring combat.
Either way is fine. That's fine.
Okay.
Anyway,
Are we ready to end the scene then, or?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so has Seth left then, yeah?
I'm sorry, you wanted me to do something?
Oh no, I was just asking if Seth's left the building and all that yet.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He'll offer a hand to everyone and very, very politely excuse himself, taking his notes and everything.
The massive, massive stack of notes, which is pretty much 2.5 feet tall in his arms.
Honestly, Seth might need a little help with that. Just, you know.
Anna wasn't moving. If the other 2 were, she would just stay there all nice and quiet.
Sila just pushes a button on a phone that's on the table, and he asks for someone to assist Mr. McDowell to his car. And very shortly after that, one of the people with the bulky vest will come by and help you carry things out. These people seem relatively strong, perhaps stronger than they appear. Or at least they're very physically apt. Thank you.
Very noted. Seth will go with the assisting individuals and ensure the safety of the documents, and head off home to continue with his daily duties.
Well, with everyone else gone and with the only other 2 people in the room being Celia and Izzy, Anna is totally free to express herself. She brings out her phone with a little phone cover on that can unflap and fold underneath, and she just kind of starts moving it as though it was a mouth. What's that phone? It's another. What did you say? Oh, sir, it's another batch of notes that won't get used. Wow, that's an accusation, isn't it? She throws her phone down on the table in frustration.
Anna, Izzy puts a hand on her shoulder. Look, I know you're getting frustrated with the city. A lot of these people are incompetent. They're not on your level, and they're not on my level. It's gonna be okay, though. Clear Prof has your back. You know that.
Well, I'll give one thing for Mitch. At least he didn't insult my investigative skills.
No. No, and I think it's perhaps you should talk to Robin about that. A disrespectful ghoul is, well, unsightly as it is. You're close with the prince, right?
Yeah, I'll see if I can have a word with her or something.
No. Anyway, you want me to take you back to your place?
Yes, please.
Okay. Celio, and borrow the car. And with that,
He
she'll
just
head out.
offers a nod.
She'll smile at Celio, blow him a kiss, and then she will put an arm around Anna and walk her to the car.
Anna collects a phone and follows along after Izzy.
Okay, I guess we can end it there.
I think so. So, I will just say thank you players for playing, thank you watchers for watching, and good night on another episode of Vampire the Masquerade Independence.